Tahrir Square, the birthplace of the uprising that toppled Hosni Mubarak, echoed once more with demands for change. From across Cairo and many parts of the country, they streamed in. Secularists, liberals and supporters of the old regime united with one goal, the resignation of the Islamist president Mohamed Morsi.
I have come for one reason only. One way or another, Morsi will fall.
Many have opposed Mr Morsi since he was elected a year ago. Others have been alienated by his determination to pursue an Islamist agenda and put members of his Muslim Brotherhood base in powerful positions. His call for dialogue has been rejected.
The one before him didn't listen to us, didn't comprehend our demands, and if it reaches this extent, we're just going to have to keep after him until he leaves.
But across town, Mohamed Morsi's supporters put on their own show of strength. They insist the president must be given a chance to serve out his full term, and they say the opposition is attempting to subvert democracy.
If their dreams come true, Morsi fails and they elect another president, what do you think the millions standing behind me would do? They'll protest in the streets and we'll just keep going in circles. The world that praised our revolution in 2011 will laugh at us.
Mohamed Morsi was elected with just over half the vote, but in the past year he's failed to bring the rest of the country with him, and the nation is now entering a new phase, threatening chaos and even widespread violence. Matt Brown, ABC News.
Members of the Muslim Brotherhood in Cairo ransacking the building and hurling furniture out of the windows. That comes after some 20 million outraged citizens flooded cities across the nation, demanding the president step down by Tuesday or face a mass rebellion. RT's Bill True reports from Cairo on how the unrest has been developing.
Millions of Egyptians came down to the streets in nationwide protests against President Mohamed Morsi on Sunday, the first anniversary of his term in office. International news outlets actually said this could be the largest demonstration seen in the history of the world. Certainly in the capital, the marches stretched out towards the horizon as they descended on Tahrir Square and the Presidential Palace. Scenes at Tahrir Square and the Presidential Palace behind me on Sunday were largely peaceful. However, there was episodes of violence towards the Muslim Brotherhood at their headquarters in the Muqattam district of the capital. About 500 people reportedly came to the building and attacked it with Molotovs and rocks. Security forces, for their part, attempted to contain the violence, firing tear gas canisters. This led to reports that the president himself may have left the capital due to security reasons. His spokesperson spoke on behalf of the presidency later Sunday evening, saying that yes, the presidency had made mistakes. It had been a very difficult year, but called on the opposition to have dialogue. This is unlikely to happen, as opposition forces have already said in numerous statements that enough is enough. They don't want to have dialogue. They don't believe that President Mohamed Morsi is fit to rule. Nationwide protests were called for by a grassroots initiative, Tamarod Rebel, who said they had collected 22 million signatures calling for the ouster of the president. They said that there's too many problems in the country. There's a flailing economy, worsening fuel and water shortages, rising bread crisis, as well as human rights abuses, and that he needs to resign now. They've actually reportedly given him a deadline of Tuesday, 5 p.m. They say he must resign by. This is really a divided Egypt with two different sides who aren't going to back down. Meanwhile, just a few kilometres away from the presidential palace, where mass demonstrations were happening against the president, those in support of President Mohamed Morsi had their own demonstration. It's called for by the Islamic Alliance, a coalition of Islamist parties in support of the president and his organisation, the Muslim Brotherhood. They said the president was democratically elected, and therefore the only way to remove him from office is through the elections. They've called the demonstration legitimacy as a red line and slammed the opposition forces, including Tamarod, as being thugs and illegitimate. With these divisions increasing across the country and violence rising, people fear that this situation is not going to end anytime soon, and the worst is yet to come.
Neil Clark, who's a journalist focusing on the Middle East, thinks Egypt is in danger of plunging into civil war if President Morsi insists on staying.
He can't stay on. It's quite clear that the people have had more than enough of him. He's been an utter and total disaster in the year he's been in power. He's broken every single promise that he made when he was elected. And it's time for him to go. If he doesn't go, I think civil war could happen because, you know, people are extremely angry. And they're angry about what happened in 2011 because they wanted radical change in 2011. They didn't just want Mubarak to be replaced by another pro-US Western puppet. And that's what's happened. There hasn't been any real changes to the economy. People are getting poorer. Unemployment's going up and up and up. And people want real change. They're not going to be content with just another US stooge in Cairo.